My name is Hazel. I am 29 years old, and this is my story. I thought my life was perfect. I really did. I lived with a man named Leo. We had a small apartment in the city. It was cozy. It was our home. I loved our life. It was simple, and it was happy. Or so I thought. Leo was my everything. He was my partner, my best friend. He was kind and funny. He always made me laugh, even on bad days. I remember how we met. It was in a little bookstore. We both reached for the same book. It was a book about stars and faraway galaxies. His hand touched mine. I felt a small spark. He smiled, and his eyes were so warm. "You can have it," he said. I smiled back. "We can share," I said. And from that day, we shared everything. We shared late-night talks. We shared quiet Sunday mornings with coffee and newspapers. We shared our dreams. We wanted to get married one day. We wanted to buy a small house with a big garden. We wanted to travel and see the world together. Our future felt bright. It felt certain. I felt so lucky. I would look at him sometimes when he wasn't looking. Maybe he was reading a book or cooking dinner. And I would think, how did I find a love like this? He seemed perfect. Too perfect, maybe. Leo had a job in sales. He often traveled for work. Sometimes he was gone for a few days. I missed him when he was away. The apartment felt empty without his laughter, but he always called. Every night, he would tell me about his day. He would ask about mine. He would say, "I miss you, Hazel." And I would say, "I miss you too, Leo." I never doubted him. Why would I? I trusted him completely. But sometimes, small things happened. Things that felt a little strange. I didn't think about them much at the time. I pushed them away because I wanted to believe in our perfect life. For example, he was very careful with his phone. He always kept it face down on the table. If it rang late at night, he would often go into the other room to answer it. Once, I asked him who called so late. He said, "Oh, just a wrong number." He said it easily. I believed him. Another time, we were looking at old photos on my computer. I had pictures of my family, my friends from college, my childhood. I asked him, "Leo, can we look at your old photos? I want to see you as a little boy." He became quiet. He said he didn't have many old photos. He said his family moved a lot, and things got lost. It sounded sad. I felt sorry for him. I hugged him and said it was okay. I didn't push it. I didn't want to make him sad. Looking back now, I see the signs. They were like little red flags. But I was colorblind. I only saw what I wanted to see. I saw a loving man, a perfect partner, a beautiful future. I was living in a happy story, but I was the only one reading it. Leo was living in another story, a story I knew nothing about. The first big crack in my perfect world happened on a Tuesday night. It was raining outside. We were sitting on the sofa, watching a movie. It was cozy. Leo's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. His face changed, just for a second. He stood up quickly. "I need to take this," he said. He walked into the kitchen and closed the door almost completely. That was unusual. He usually didn't close doors. I tried to focus on the movie, but I could hear his voice. It was low and soft, very different from his work voice. I couldn't hear the words clearly. But then I heard something that made my blood run cold. I heard a high-pitched sound, a child's voice in the background of the call. Then I heard Leo say, very clearly, "Don't worry, sweetie. Daddy will be home soon. I love you too." "Daddy," he said, "Daddy." My heart stopped. We didn't have children. Who was he talking to? My mind started racing. Maybe it was his brother. Maybe his brother had a child. But he told me his brother lived in another country. It didn't make sense. He came back into the living room. He had a tight smile on his face. "Sorry about that," he said. "It was just my colleague. His kid was making noise." He sat down next to me. He tried to take my hand, but I felt cold. My whole body felt cold. "I heard a child," I said. My voice was small. "Yes, that was his daughter," Leo said smoothly. "She always wants to talk to me. It's cute." He laughed a little. It sounded forced. I wanted to ask more. I wanted to say, "But you called yourself Daddy." But I couldn't. I was too scared. Scared of what the answer might be. What if I was wrong? I would look crazy. I would damage our trust. So I said nothing. I just nodded. I let him hold my hand. But for the rest of the night, I couldn't look at him. The word echoed in my head. "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." The crack was no longer small. It was a giant, dark line through my perfect life. After that night, everything felt different. I started to notice more things. The way he sometimes looked sad when he thought I wasn't watching. The way he talked about the future. He would say, "I want to travel with you," not "we will travel." It was a small change in words, but it felt big. I started to feel a constant, low level of anxiety. Like I was waiting for something bad to happen. The final piece of the puzzle came a few weeks later. It was a Saturday morning. Leo was supposed to go on another work trip. He was packing his small suitcase. He was rushing. "My flight is early," he said. He kissed me goodbye. "I'll call you tonight," he said. And then he was gone. About an hour later, I was cleaning the apartment. I saw his wallet on the small table by the door. He had forgotten it. My heart pounded. He would need his wallet, his ID, his credit cards. I should call him. He could come back for it. I picked up the wallet. It felt heavy. I opened it to find his phone number, just in case my phone died. And then I saw it, tucked behind his driver's license. It was a small, folded photograph. It wasn't old or faded. It was new. My hands were shaking. I didn't want to look. I knew I shouldn't look. But I couldn't stop myself. I slowly unfolded the picture. It was a family photo. It was Leo. He was smiling, a big, happy, genuine smile. A smile I hadn't seen in a long time. His arm was around a woman. She was pretty, with long brown hair. She was smiling too. And sitting on Leo's lap was a little girl, maybe 4 or 5 years old. She had big brown eyes, just like Leo's. She was holding a teddy bear. They were sitting on the grass in a sunny park. They looked so happy. They looked so real. They looked like a family. I couldn't breathe. The air left my lungs. The room started spinning. I had to sit down on the floor. I stared at the picture, the woman, the child, his child, the little girl who called him Daddy. Nothing was real, our life together, our dreams, his love. It was all a lie, a huge, terrible lie. I felt sick. I felt like a fool, a stupid, blind fool. How could I not have known? How could I be so stupid? Tears streamed down my face. I cried for the woman I was, the happy, trusting woman who believed in a perfect story. She was gone. In her place was a woman sitting on the floor, holding a picture that destroyed her world. I don't know how long I sat there, maybe an hour, maybe more. The tears stopped eventually. They were replaced by a cold, hard feeling, anger, and a strange kind of clarity. I knew what I had to do. I couldn't live in this lie anymore. I needed the truth, the whole truth. I looked at the back of the photograph. There was writing, a date, and a name. Lily's 4th birthday. Lily, her name was Lily. And below that, a small logo from a photo studio. It had the name of a town, Oak Creek. I had never heard of Oak Creek. I quickly searched for it on my computer. It was a small town, about a 3-hour drive away. It was not in the direction of the airport. It was not a place he would go for a work trip. It was the place he went for his other life. A plan formed in my mind. A crazy, desperate plan. I wasn't going to call him. I wasn't going to wait for him to come home and tell me more lies. I was going to see it for myself. I was going to Oak Creek. I put the photo back in his wallet. I placed the wallet back on the table, exactly where he left it. I went to my bedroom and packed a small overnight bag. I felt like a different person. Scared, yes, but also determined. I needed to see his hidden life with my own eyes. I needed to know what was real. The drive to Oak Creek was long and silent. I didn't listen to music. I just listened to the sound of the engine and the beating of my own heart. What was I doing? Was I crazy? What would I do when I got there? What if I saw him? What would I say? I had no answers. I just kept driving. My hands gripped the steering wheel tightly. I arrived in Oak Creek in the early afternoon. It was a pretty town. Quiet streets, big trees, nice houses with gardens. It looked like a place where families lived. It looked peaceful. It made me feel sick. I didn't know where to go. The town wasn't big. I just drove around slowly. I passed a school, a small park, a grocery store. My eyes searched every car, every person. Was that him? Was that her? I felt like a spy in a bad movie. Then I saw the photo studio from the picture. It was on the main street. My heart started beating faster. I parked my car across the street where I could see the studio entrance. I didn't know what I was waiting for. I just sat there, watching, waiting. Hours passed. The sun started to go down. I felt tired and hopeless. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I should just go home. But I couldn't. I couldn't go back to the apartment, to the lie. And then I saw him. He walked out of the grocery store. He was carrying 2 big bags of groceries. He wasn't wearing his city clothes, his suit from work. He was wearing jeans and a simple t-shirt. He looked relaxed. He looked at home. And he wasn't alone. The woman from the photograph was with him. She was laughing at something he said. Then, the little girl, Lily, ran out of the store behind them. "Daddy, wait for me," she shouted. Leo turned around. He put down the grocery bags. He opened his arms, and Lily ran right into them. He lifted her up and spun her around. Her laughter filled the quiet street. It was a sound of pure joy. I watched them, the perfect family. They walked to a car parked just a few feet away. It was a family car, a minivan. It even had a child's seat in the back. He opened the door for his wife. He put Lily in her seat. He put the groceries in the trunk. It was all so normal, so domestic, so real. My world, which was already broken, now turned to dust. I watched as they drove away. I followed them. I don't know why. I just had to see where they lived. They didn't drive far. They turned onto a quiet street lined with beautiful houses. They pulled into the driveway of a lovely blue house with a white picket fence and a garden full of flowers. A swing set stood in the backyard. This was his home, his real home, with his real family. Our apartment in the city, our life, our future, it was all a fantasy, a temporary escape for him. I was his secret, his hidden life. But he was the one with the hidden life. A complete, separate life I never knew existed. I sat in my car at the end of the street and watched as the lights in the blue house turned on. I could see their shapes moving inside. A family starting their evening together. I felt completely empty. There were no more tears left to cry. There was just a vast, hollow space inside my chest. Nothing was real. My love story was a lie. And I had to drive back to the empty apartment that was never really our home. The drive back was a blur. I don't remember much of it. I just remember the feeling of being completely and utterly alone. When I got back to the apartment, it felt different. It felt like a stranger's house, a movie set. All the things we bought together, the pictures on the wall, the books on the shelf, they all felt like props in a play. A play where I was the main character, but I didn't know the story was a tragedy. I sat on the sofa in the dark. I didn't turn on any lights. I just waited. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I knew I couldn't pretend anymore. The pretending was over. Leo came home 2 days later. He walked in smiling. He was carrying a small bouquet of flowers. "I'm back," he said happily. I missed you. He came to kiss me. I turned my head away. I stood up and faced him. I looked him directly in the eyes. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. My voice was quiet, cold. I know, Leo. His smile faded. Confusion filled his eyes. You know what? He asked. I know about Oak Creek, I said. I know about the blue house with the white fence. I know about your wife. And I know about your daughter, Lily. Every word I said was like a physical blow to him. The color drained from his face. The flowers fell from his hand onto the floor. He looked shocked, broken. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. He just stared at me. How did you find out? He finally whispered. You left your wallet, I said. I saw the picture. And then I went there. I saw you, Leo. I saw your family. Your happy, real family. He sank down onto a chair. He put his head in his hands. Hazel, I'm so sorry, he sobbed. I never wanted to hurt you. I never meant for this to happen. You didn't mean to happen, I asked. My voice was still calm, but anger was rising inside me. You didn't mean to have a whole other life, a wife, a child. You didn't mean to lie to me every single day for years. He started to talk, to explain. It was a long, messy story. He had met his wife, Sarah, in college. They got married young. They had Lily, but he felt trapped. He said their love was gone. He said he met me and felt alive again. He said he loved me. He said he loved his daughter too. He said he was a coward. He didn't know what to do. He was trying to keep everyone happy, but nobody was happy. He wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. And his wife, she was living with a man who lied to her too. He didn't just break my heart. He broke his own family. I listened to all his words, all his excuses, but they didn't matter. The trust was gone. The love I felt for him had turned into something ugly. Pity, disgust. He wasn't the strong, kind man I fell in love with. He was a weak man who built his life on lies. When he finished talking, there was a long silence. He looked up at me, his eyes full of tears. Please, Hazel, he begged. Don't leave me. We can work this out. I almost laughed. Work this out? There is nothing to work out, Leo. You have a family, a wife and a child who need you. You need to go back to them. And you need to tell them the truth. They deserve that. But I love you, he insisted. No, you don't, I said. My voice was firm now. You don't hurt the people you love. Not like this. What we had, it wasn't real. It was a nice story. But it's over. I told him to pack his things and leave. He cried. He begged. But something inside me was made of stone. I didn't feel sadness anymore, just a deep, deep sense of betrayal. He was a stranger to me now. He finally realized I was serious. He slowly packed his bags, the things that belonged to his secret life with me. Watching him walk out of the door was the hardest and easiest thing I have ever done. The door closed, and the silence in the apartment was deafening. But it was a new kind of silence. It was an honest silence. The lie was gone. He was gone. The weeks after he left were the hardest of my life. The pain was real, physical. My heart hurt. The apartment was full of his ghosts. I cried a lot. I felt so foolish, so angry, so alone. I had to move out of the apartment. I couldn't stay there. I found a small, new place, just for me. Slowly, very slowly, I started to heal. I told my closest friend what happened. She was shocked, but she was so supportive. She listened. She let me cry. She made me laugh again. I started to focus on myself. I took a pottery class. I started hiking on the weekends. I was learning to be alone again, to enjoy my own company. I learned a very hard lesson. I learned that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. I learned that secrets and lies destroy everything. But most importantly, I learned that I am strong, stronger than I ever thought. I survived the lie. I survived the heartbreak. I survived the truth. My life is different now. It is quieter, simpler. It is not a perfect story. It has scars, but it is real. It is my own. I am Hazel, and I am starting again. If you are listening to my story and you feel lost or hurt, please know this. The truth can be painful. It can break your world, but living in a lie is a prison. It will slowly destroy you. Be brave enough to seek the truth. Be strong enough to walk away from lies. Healing takes time. It's not easy, but you can do it. You are stronger than you think. You can build a new life, a real life. Keep going. You deserve to be happy. You deserve what is real.